Hi everyone, thanks for joining again. Today we're going to do a quick little video on soft mounting or vibration dampening your flight controller when mounting it in your quadcopter. So here I've got my Alien 5-inch frame, and this flight controller is the X-Racer V3.1, but it doesn't matter what kind of flight controller you are using. Well, actually it does, but we'll get to that. But basically, I recommend soft mounting any flight controller for a number of reasons, but most importantly is better flight characteristics, because your gyro is feeding the PID loop a much cleaner signal. So look, mostly the reason why we're doing this is because if you have a build like this, and I'll just get the focus going here, what I want to just show you first of all is how I've soft mounted here. So here I have three actual, I've found this to work particularly well, but I have like three different, I guess, points of soft mounting. So right here between the PDB and this nylon standoff, I actually have a black rubber grommet. I then have my like a short little, because I try to keep my stacks pretty low, so I then have a really small little nylon standoff here, and then I have two more soft mounted grommets, and these are actually made from RC fuel line. So the reason why I've had the most success with this, I guess, like I've tried just using the black grommets and putting the black grommets, you know, on the bottom and the top of the flight controller, but it just wasn't that great. It did reduce the noise getting into the gyro a little bit, but it didn't really do the whole thing. In other builds, like for example, here I've got my 210, and you can also see the same thing I've done, except only two sides. So here I've got the black grommet, and then I've got the fuel line. But I guess this is because the stack on this is even shorter again. And see, when I get my full frame together, there is like literally millimeters between this Immersion RC VTX and the top of the board. And if this is touching here, the amount of vibrations they're getting through is literally astronomical. And I had an incredibly difficult time tuning this copter until I got this soft mounting right. But not only did I get it right, I reckon I've done it particularly well, because the quality of the noise reduction when triple soft mounting like this is just amazing. So let's talk about what I've used to do this. So firstly, we have this fuel line. So the fuel line is, I'll put a link to this in the description, but essentially the fuel line is a RC fuel tubing. It's hollow, as we can see there. And one of the things that's really difficult about this stuff when you're working with it is cutting it. And so as you can see here, like, you know, one of the ways you can do this is, you know, grab a X-Acto knife, Stanley knife, and cut off these little bits. And you can see that I've got like thousands of these, well, not quite thousands, but you know, dozens of these bits cut off. But I've had varying success with this because because there's flex in the tubing as it pushes down. I find that it's just really difficult to get really straight cuts. So I'd really take your time and effort. Someone else posted on something about, you know, like perhaps if you got something in here, and then you could, you know, run, because then it won't flex, and then you could run the knife along it like that. There are lots of different ways. Look, you're just going to have to play with it, work with it, and hopefully you can get some decent little grommets. The one thing to keep in mind there is that you want to try to get them as equal in size as possible as you mount them at the various points. So I've got like thick ones underneath the board, and then slightly smaller ones just to add that extra bit of dampening as well. So I'll leave a link to where I got this from online. The other thing are these black washers, these O-rings, and you can get these from hobby stores as well as I found some link to somewhere in China off eBay that sells these in like 50s, where it's fairly expensive to buy 10 at a time from the hobby stores. I haven't ordered those ones off eBay. I will get some to let you guys know if they work or not, but if not, I'll leave the link to Impulse RC where I got these as well. So fuel line, O-rings, that's literally it. I highly recommend at least double mounting here. This whole stack is actually flexible. I don't know if I'm going to be able to demonstrate this, but if you like push this, no, it's really hard to see, but there is enough flexibility in here that this whole stack can actually move back and forwards because of the soft mounting underneath the nylon standoff. And I've still got just the regular aluminium hardware going into those standoffs as well. So look, that's worked amazing for me. I could go into more depth about showing you the results from the gyro, but you're just going to have to trust me that I'm running really low filtering in Betaflight for my gyro and my D-term low pass because my gyro signal is just so clear. Now, there are certain flight controllers that do have different chips that are more susceptible to noise. I think it's the NAS Rev 6 and some others, so even more so while you do this. But look, honestly, I would do it with even with like an older CC3D board like I've got here. This also I've bothered to soft mount, and this one's just a banger. But yeah, I wouldn't really build a quad without doing this anymore. So hopefully that's been useful for you guys. If this has been helpful, if you're enjoying the content, please like, subscribe, comment. I'm really trying to build a following here, so I really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching, and happy flying. See you next time.